ultimately, it's like somebody really needs to help you on the other side break through that fog, a fog that you've gotten into. And it may definitely be just having been lost in a dream world of sorts, fallen in love with somebody, you know, quarantine heaven type of thing, like, just getting really, really comfortable in the hermit mode, if you will, and losing yourself in your own dreams and losing the perspective of the harsh criticisms that reality gives us. Maybe even retreating into that dream world because you don't want the harshness and you were kind of sick of it. So it's really interesting how the dream world can really be that escape that we need so often, but then other times it's reality that's the escape that we need. We actually, we need the strong smell of urine on the New York streets, It's like, we need this getting splashed by, what was in that puddle, like we need that every once in a while. Certainly we don't need a life defined by that because that's a whole different kind of trauma, but we definitely need that reality sometimes. And ultimately there's a sense of needing to wake up now, Pisces. It's time to wake up now. And I know that officially you guys don't really wake up, but I think that I'm really, as we draw closer and closer to the end of, I wish I had my book here, to the end of November, we've entered Sagittarius season, and ultimately Neptune is going to go direct really soon. And it's interesting how you almost retreat more into your dream world when Neptune is in retrograde, because that beautiful soft buffer of that familiar territory that is the world of the infinitely possible, because there are no laws of physics in the realm of our imagination and our ability to create, right? There are no laws of physics. There's no time. There's no space. There's just anything that we can create. And that makes it the most powerful place in our whole system. But ultimately, it is also the hardest to reach. It's also the hardest to translate into something that's tangible in 3D, and there can be so much frustration in that translation process. And I know that you know it because you go through it all the time to try to translate everything that you conceive and conceptualize into something that actually makes sense to other people. How hard you work and how much you sacrifice your life to do it. And I admire it in so many ways. I admire the courage and the devotion. But when Neptune is in retrograde, that veil gets pulled back, and it's almost like that the sweet scent of the urinated streets is like that's all you smell. And so Pisces is a sort of in defensive mode in those times, and draws deeper and deeper into the self, and draws deeper and deeper into a place of romance, and it draws deeper and deeper into the world. You just wanting so hard to make the world a more beautiful place, when the reality is it hasn't changed. It isn't less beautiful or more horrible than it was before Neptune went into retrograde. It's just you can't hide anywhere, and therein lies the struggle when Neptune is in retrograde. But as we close out November, Neptune is going to go direct. And so there's this wonderful sense of knowing that, just like knowing that you're going to be okay again, and that you're sort of that veil or that buffer between here and reality, is going to come back into place. And in some ways, that's actually clearing up things for you. That's actually helping you to actually not be so resistant toward the changes that are happening around you, because you have that safe place to go to that isn't affected anymore. Ultimately, Pisces, what this translates into is finally seeing somebody, maybe from it's somebody who actually cuts through your fog for you, somebody who you trust to always discuss the truth with and to talk reality with, and you trust being criticized from, because the criticism you ultimately know is not it comes from love. It comes so that you see what you're capable of, and only pointing out where you failed because they know that you can do even better, and they want to see you and they want to help facilitate that. So there's a sense of somebody like breaking through and finally like coming out of the fog. That's what it is. It's like coming out of the fog. Clear this fog. Clear the separation maybe between you and somebody that you've been talking to or that you've been kept distant from. Now it's almost like your life clears up because you can be together or you can finally see each other. There's definitely some sort of travel here. And I know that, you know, your Neptune is in, Neptune is, it's that ever expansive mystery and imagination, but ultimately it does love to go many places. It doesn't love to sit still. Pisces, you love adventure. You love the adventures you can take in your mind, but you also love the adventures in exploring the world. It's part of your soul. And ultimately, I feel like there's some sort of place that you're going. You're able to open up again. You're able to go there again. You do need a break. You need a break. I think you need a break from the self-induced coma so that you can go back into the natural zodiac coma that you are used to living in. You need a break from it. You need somebody to draw you out, and that's exactly what's happening. So here you are surrounded by friends, doing something, creating something, working on something. But this is a sense of collaboration in the real world, collaboration of just getting away from all of those, you know. It's like, I know that you love to create, I know, but every once in a while you need to step away from it. You need to not be the creator. You need to just sort of be the doofball or the person that cuts the broccoli, or, you know, the person that is on toilet cleaning duty tonight, you know, like, or whatever. It's just the mundane is an escape for you, and that's exactly where you need to allow yourself to go right now. And the amount of joy that will come from it is unimaginable. There's a full moon coming up in Sagittarius. It's on November 1st, and I feel like there will be such great celebration and joy. I see you reconnecting with maybe people you haven't connected with in a long time, seeing people that you haven't seen in a long time, having some sort of celebration, having some sort of just joy of getting out of this comfort zone. And by, I think it's December 1st, not November 1st, what am I saying? I think it's December 1st, Neptune is back direct, you know, and so many of the planets are direct. Mars just went direct, Neptune goes direct at the end of this month. I'm not sure when Uranus goes direct. Basically all our planets are going to be direct, and that's just freaking beautiful. Mercury went direct earlier in November, so there's this wonderful sense of the world kind of being right and you needing that vacation. You know, it's almost like people like me, I hate the cold weather, but I love cold weather sports. So it's like, I would love to take a vacation to Vermont. I love Vermont. It's in the winter, it's just too intense for me, but to be there for a week, just even the discomfort that the cold causes me is a vacation from the everyday comfort that I feel. It's almost like, in some ways, and I'm not trying, because I don't want to push you over the edge and put you into an uncomfortable situation, but discomfort, I saw 1010. So maybe you're dealing with a divine counterpart. Discomfort is what you need right now. A little bit of challenge is what you need right now. A little bit of dissonance is what you need right now. It is the salt to your recipe that is going to blow up all the other flavors and really kind of like shower you with these blessings that are just been waiting for you. There's a break that's about to open up, and I think it's through this little tinge of discomfort. I think it is not necessarily suffering, but it's almost like the sky breaks open and the reality comes through. So if you've been in a long distance relationship with somebody, there's a sense of actually meeting them. And yeah, that's uncomfortable, because long distance relationships, I mean, I have to say this, no judgment, please, no judgment interpreted, please don't interpret it as judgment, but long distance relationships really happen more in your head. They're still mostly in your imagination until you're actually with that person and dealing with their smells and their attitude problems and their leaving clothes where you don't want them. Like, there's just a sense of always being able to imagine something until you're confronted with the reality. But that reality could actually be so much more beautiful than the fantasy. Because remember, the fantasy is just you, but the reality is you and them. And I think that something is coming into being now. There's definitely a bridge. There's definitely happiness. There's definitely light and brightness and color that's in your life. Let go and flow. Just trust. Trust where you're being led right now, because honestly, things are about to turn around for you. In a wonderful way, the sky is about to open up and rain on you. And whoa, what a refreshing feeling that rain on your face is going to be. A win-win outcome is forecast. This is always, to me, a card of equal partnership. So it is a card of partnership. It is Libra. But ultimately, it's also a sense of you'll find a way to compromise. You'll find a way to make this work. You'll find that place that the both of you feel comfortable, and ultimately you'll find an equal. You'll find, like, learning, in other words, learning how to communicate with each other and learning how to find what works for the both of you is sort of the next step. Communication is key, man. That's Gemini energy. I don't know if you're dealing with a Libra. I don't know if you're dealing with a Gemini. God bless you if you're dealing with both. All I can say about this is that communication is the key. So Gemini will always tell you, if you know Gemini, Gemini want you to say, air signs in general, they want you to tell them the truth. And water signs, I'm a Cancer, you're a Pisces, we get it. We're like, oh, we're going to hurt people's feelings. Bull fucking shit. Especially if you're dealing with an air sign. But in this situation, that's what it's saying is you need to communicate what you want. Actually have the words come out of your mouth. Not think, oh, but didn't you just know it because I pouted? Or didn't you just know it because I went to bed? I said everything was okay, and I went to bed early. No, you said everything was okay. This is about actually having to communicate and face the discomfort. It's like I said, it's not abusive. It's not somebody hurting you. That's taking responsibility and finding a solidity in those emotions and giving those emotions a solidity that they need in order to conduct an actual adult grown-up fucking relationship. So this is basically what this person does to you. They put you in that discomfort zone, but it actually brings out the best in you. Now we have cutting the shit. Figuring out what you need and what you don't need. In other words, this card is about leaving the childhood fantasies behind and not only accepting, but embracing the maturity. You don't need the fantasy. You don't need the fog. You don't need it. You need to come out of the fog and get comfortable in this reality, in the truth, in this place of restrictions. There's so much beauty and adventure right there for you. So that's what it is. It's leaving your childhood dreams behind for something even better. So now I want to go into the spirit guide messages. Main part of the reading, I always call it, because this is my main deck. You guys watch me all the time. You know this is my favorite deck. I feel always connected to it. So wow, there's a lot here, and I think it's way too much. So, but we'll sift through it. Let's leave that. Okay, and then okay. Figure out what wants to come out and what doesn't, or where it wants to come out, which is really important. Lots of scorpionic energy. Something that you could have been feeling, feelings that could have been buried, feelings that could have been you kept to yourself. Ideas that you kept to yourself. Ultimately, they're coming out. Okay. So this is holding on to something. So there has been something sitting in your gut, and it's churning and churning, and it's bothering you. So ultimately, Pisces, this is making you ill. It's making you sick. If you've been having gut problems, intestinal problems especially, this is why. It's emotional. It's an emotional reaction, and it's something that has to be addressed, because it's sort of a sickness that's stirring in your belly that you're still ignoring, or that you don't know what to do with. But it's confirmed there is a toxin here, and it has to be released. And this is the confrontation of those toxins within your belly. This is also a sense of, and once again, no judgment, but a sense of some of you may have been becoming too intoxicated for whatever reason, like, too much partying, or too much getting lost in yourself, or like, that one night where you indulge and just open a bottle of wine turned into 5 nights where you indulge and open a bottle of wine. That sense of really having to detox yourself is necessary. Nothing is wasted. This means that there's a lot wasted. This means that there's just a trash heap covering the treasure. It's a sense of it's more toxins. That's what it is. It's like denying the truth, hiding the truth, shoving the truth down through intoxication or more toxics. It could also be toxic behavior too. It could be, once again, being lost in your fantasy world. Just escaping reality instead of addressing it. So this is a sense of there is a heaviness here and a real problem here. You've been losing yourself in your fantasy world a little bit too much. And then we have Spirit has a plan. This was not Spirit's plan. This is really upside down and kind of up to you. It's up to you. This wasn't where Spirit wanted you to be. And so what he's calling you to do is take responsibility and flip things around yourself, saying that this is an imbalance, a spiritual imbalance. And it could be because of something that you're reacting to, or, something's going on that's really bothering you. Ultimately, you have to talk about it. You have to start articulating it. And that's what's going to come out. There's just this abundance of feeling and emotion that needs to be addressed. Such feelings that have been repressed and kept below, and that's what you're spotlighting, and that's what is coming out now. This is also Scorpio Pisces energy. Could be dealing with a Scorpio. If you are, it's the scorpionic energy that's actually helping you bring all those emotions to the surface, or helping you sift through and make sense of them. And this is the Cancerian energy, right in the middle. Right in the middle, which is where Cancer lives, right in between two extremes, two worlds, the land and the sea. But this is a little bit wonky. This has come out not so sure of itself. So the desired result is emotional stability, but this is a little compromised. This is not really being sure of your direction. That's what this is. And then we have, you see clearly now. So this is getting some counseling or some advice, or giving counseling or giving advice based on wisdom, based on what you've earned in life, and what you see based on your experiences and making them through. So ultimately, this is Aquarius energy, telling the truth or seeing the truth, even if it's scary. And then there is tend to the small things. So there's a lot. This has been building up over a long time. And I love when these cards come out, because it's a lot of hope. Because what does owl eat? Fucking mice. I mean, seriously. Like, we've all dissected the owl pellets in biology class. We know what owls eat. And this is basically, you see the truth and you see the problem, and basically you've decided to gobble it up. You know that there's an issue. You know that there's a struggle. You know that there's a challenge, and now you're going to tackle it because you see it very clearly and you've identified it, which is exceptional. Surrender now. And this is also a sense of surrender, right? Just let it flow and ask for help, maybe. this sense of trust in other people's wisdom, other people's knowledge. I just saw in my head that trust exercise where you put your arms out and you just, float back and trust that somebody's going to catch you. This is kind of you. You're surrendering. You're surrendering yourself to somebody else's wisdom, somebody else's knowledge. Not necessarily a higher power. I think you're surrendering yourself over to somebody's experience, trusting them. This is also Sagittarius energy. So heading into Sagittarius season, there could also be traveling that is involved. A rebirth is assured. So definitely a transition that a five energy, right? A transition that you had to make in your life that was very important for your life to continue. You're now coming out of your cocoon, like opening up the windows and freshening the air because the hermitage has become too intense. There's just a sense of getting out of the cocoon now and stepping back into life. This is also Scorpionic energy, and it's time to collaborate, which is beautiful. You may be a little bit worried or scared about this collaboration, as if you're going to be seeing somebody for the first time in a long time, and ultimately you don't know how it's going to go. I understand, but it's part of the process, and you will rock it. I know you will. Because this card comes up outright, and I mean this card came out upright, and so what that means is this is a good collaboration. There's chemistry here. You will be able to, or it could be somebody helping you put the puzzle pieces back together again. Watch and wait. So this is a lot of patience and faith. Somebody being very patient or being very faithful, or you being very patient. You kind of like almost surveying this idea of collaboration, or trying to learn. It's almost like you're learning as you go, trying to see how you fit into this scenario.